2, 3. We are live. Hey guys.
Hey everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me get my camera. There, that's a little better. I didn't want to cut so much of my camera out. There's another way to do this right here.
Is that
That
more
gives
view?
us, yeah, it's a better view. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's smaller and longer. I don't know. Seems a little peculiar to me,
It
but it
does,
is.
doesn't
It
it?
is. Yeah, we can do that for a bit and then jump in for a close up like that
Yeah.
for now. Well, hi everybody. Welcome. Mr. Resistance. OC Urban Gardener is here. Mattis Factory got the plant package and photo plants yesterday. Tank 4 is set up. Yeah, we had a
Awesome.
couple of people win a prize last week, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Stan and Deacon are here. Psycho Plant Lady is here. Hi, Dina. Welcome, welcome. And did I say Stan? I said Stan. Caddy. Hi, Caddy. Wet Sleeves Aquatics. West Virginia Holla Girl. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. Well, I've been busy all day. All morning I was busy. We moved a couple of our big tanks into our new facility, which we will be in completely by next Monday. We have next weekend to finish the move. So I'm here at home today. It was impossible to try to do anything in the studio. It just all in an uproar. Half of it's not even there anymore. The new place is going to be amazing. Just you wait and see. Who's this? Gui, Guil, Guillermo Cruz from Argentina. Guillermo, Guillermo maybe needs a wrench. Nice to see you. Anna Olens from Sweden. Anna is here. Anna Olens from Sweden. Patty McIntyre, won't my baby tears grow? Baby tears a little tricky. You probably do not have adequate nutrients. They're very shallow root plant. So you've got to have nutrients in the top half inch. The best way to do that is to mix some peat or some rotted leaf mold in the top inch or so. In other words, get a food web going. That'll get nutrients in that top layer of sand, and it'll allow you to grow carpeting plants. Darren Coons, hello Darren. Nice to see you. Let's get Darren a wrench. And who is this? Wilson from Portugal. Wilson Goncalves from Portugal. Add moderator, and you got a wrench. And Kimco, Super 9 Polar Bear. Got a 59, got the food web. It's crazy. Yes, it is. Good for you, Kimco. Nice to have you with us. And what else is going on? 3G is here. A3G. Darren Coons. Did I say hello to Darren? I did, I think, maybe. I do
I think
now.
so.
I just did. And who else is here? Let's see. We got this down is Koki's Fish Nursery. You like frozen dirt cubes for shallow rates? You know, I've never done it. I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it's probably a reasonable thing to do. I simply have never done it, mainly because I'm very consistent about setting up tanks with an inch of cultured dirt as the first as the first step. So I've never needed to. 1 week video me. You got it, Kimco. this coming Wednesday is our show and tell. Anybody who's got a new tank and wants to show it off, come be with us Wednesday. We'll be happy to bring you up and look at your tank and talk about it and show it off to everybody. That'll be great fun. Always is. Uh, Tommy said a perfect Swedish accent. Please do it. I tried Danish and Danish. I can't do it. I had to practice it for a week when we were way back when we were going to do the Danish gardeners 1800s book as a whatever, as a blog. I practiced that accent. I practiced the Danish accent for weeks, and I would have to hear it again to get back to it. It's a very difficult, very unique, maybe I can do it. Let me do it. Let me get Danish accent. Let's see. The accent tag. I gotta.
Yeah, I know you can do a lot of different accents. That's really cool how you can do that.
Oh, let's try. Okay, we can try this. Also, Gonga's father fish tried your method of soil. Fantastic results. I've got the 3 layers aerobic, sand and anaerobic mud. Hello, guys. Hello. A shrimp easy to breed. I got my first little bunch of 3. What is an auto, Knuckle? What is an auto? An auto. Oh, an auto. Ah, an auto. An auto is a little fish. It is a little fish. That's what an auto. An auto is a little fish. Oh, well. He's doing it.
That's pretty good.
Oh, dear.
Hey, you can do more accents than I can, so.
What's this? Delca Sable. How pH affects aggression? Boy, that's a good question. Why
That is.
soup contopolides? Bit of pH decreasing chemical instantly decreases aggression on my neons. That may not be aggression. Neons are not aggressive. If they are on each other's case, that is breeding behavior. So I'm going to suggest to you that sudden change put them out of their breeding mode. So that's not necessarily a good thing. I would suggest that's what that was and not aggression. It's a really interesting question. How does pH affect aggression? It would only affect it as it created an environment in which the fish were not comfortable. I think beyond that, it wouldn't. That stained glass was made for me by a couple who are some of the top stained glass people in Florida. They make magnificent pieces. I had them in the shop early on. They were doing a number of projects for me that I was paying them for, and they gave me that as a gift. And it is stunning, just really stunning. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. We're in Norway now, says Tommy. You are or I am? I don't know where I am. I'm lost, Tommy. I have no idea. I have no idea where I am. I am Texas. Well, man. Well, I can't do Texas without doing Southern drawl. It's really a problem for me. The Texas drawl. Yeah, got to do it deep. The Texas drawl, my word. The Texas. See, I get into a southern thing doing it. Stan Pittman. Yes, indeed, Stan. Well. Hi there, friends. How are you? How are you all? I'm happy to see you all. Big mamas and males chase them. Uh, move out and only fit. Nah, don't worry about it, Delka. They're fine. They're not going to hurt each other. In point of fact, um, when they do that, if you can set them up in a tank that has, I'm gonna lower my voice here and get into a little color. Um, that's not colored. That's colored. Colored. Little tint, if you will. Put some marbles in the bottom of your tank, about 2 layers of marbles, and then late in the evening, move your school of neons into there. And then in the morning, they're going to spawn right there over those marbles, and their eggs will drop down in between the marbles. They will. They will. Then you take them out around 10, 11 o'clock when they're done doing their thing, and then shine a little flashlight up under that tank, and you'll see eggs in there. If you don't do it again, but you'll see eggs in there. Those eggs are going to hatch in about a day or two, depending on temperature. You want temperature 82 to 85, and then you watch them hatch. 2 days after they hatch, you need to feed them, and that's where you lose them because you need to feed them microfauna. Uh, Micro worm is good. Uh, Paramecium is good. If you get a food web going, you can put that food web in there. Now that's if you're taking them out. If you've got a big, thick food web in the bottom of your fish tank, you're going to get babies in there no matter what, because they will spawn over that. The eggs will fall down in there, and some of them won't get eaten. Some of them will escape, and they'll fall down and fall down. They'll roll down in there, and they'll hatch. And those babies will live in there for a month until they finally start poking their heads up and looking around. You just try that and see if it ain't so.
That was awesome.
All
I don't
right.
know how you can change your voice that way.
Uh, Develop food web, Daphne shrimp worms. Excellent, Delta. Excellent. Work on a paramecium culture. That's the key. If you can learn how to do a paramecium culture, then you will have a natural source of food for egg layers, particularly tetras and other very tiny fish when they lay their eggs on those baby hatch, because they need the tiniest food, and paramecium is perfect. I had a friend who owned a goldfish farm, and in the spring when he would hatch out all his fancy goldfish, he would keep very large cultures of paramecium, and that's what he fed his babies. The tiniest baby fish can eat paramecium. Paramecium is about a quarter the size of a microworm, and a microworm is pretty tiny, but the paramecium is even smaller. So it's the tiniest natural food that you will ever need. DB is here. What plants are tough enough for Congo tetras and longfin rosy barbs? Well, there are a number actually. Swords are pretty good. You can always do swords. You can always do Vallisneria. They're good. Um, let's see. If you can do a Nubius, crypts are good too. Cryptocarina is pretty sturdy plant, and crypts will work pretty well. The other ones are ferns. Any of the ferns, they're not going to be. It's only truly, it's only the stem plants that are a problem because so many of their leaves are soft leaves. Now, there are some stem plants that have very hard leaves, and you can use those. Stud Sidious. well, 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 I just I just want to thank you for that, man. I just want to thank you. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, very much. Yes, indeed. I do. I do. Osceola Llewellyn is here. Stud City is. My Betty would harass the neons until I planted a tank. It's funny thing about Bettis, Bettis prefer a lot of cover. Their natural environment is weed beds. They live up close to shore where plants are growing out into the water. And so they're living around stems and rooted plants and dead leaves and all that stuff. So they're used to living in a lot of cover, which is why I have such a problem with people who insist on putting bettas in large empty tanks. It is, and then they say, oh, but they're free. Look how they're swimming around. They're free. They're frightened. They
Right.
are frightened to death that something is going to eat them. And so they dart from one place to the other in abject terror.
Yeah.
Why do they think that's fun?
Right.
It's not fun.
No, it's not.
It's not fun for the betta. It might be fun for that. I shall not cast aspersions. I shall not. I'm not going to do it. I just won't. But I got another bullet in my magazine now. I can fire at the next person that tells me, oh, you're so cruel. You put that Betty in the little jar. It's only a gallon or maybe two. They need to be in a 90-gallon tanks and be happy.
90-gallon. Somebody didn't really put one in a 90-gallon tank, did they? That'd be
And
horrible.
yeah, really. And I'm going to say, you vile terrorist, how dare you frighten that tiny fish out of its mind?
Right? Yeah, my betta, he's happy just in the 2-gallon jar that's planted, and he's happy.
Oh, they do. They like hunting places. They do. That
Yeah, they do.
when they're in an open area, they will become aggressive
Hmm.
to anything smaller, and they will dart rapidly if there are larger fish in there. They'll try to get out of the way. It's a terrible condition to put a betta in. Just terrible.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
and I don't know. I think what really has brought this on is the big box stores insisting on putting bettas in half pint jars and never feeding them or feeding them and letting the bowl go foul and winding up with sick and dying fish. I think I think that's the cause of this mentality. They think the problem is the little container, and that is not the problem. The problem is they are not cared for. They're put in those jars, they are ignored until they are sold or get so sick they get thrown in the dumpster. Go behind a Petco or PetSmart and see how many sick and dying bettas you will find in the dumpster. You will be shocked.
Yeah, you will. There's a guy on
You
YouTube,
will
I
be
can't remember
shocked.
his name. He does it, and I was shocked watching his videos. He
If you
pulled
want
out
to
one
if you want to raise hell, don't raise hell with me. Raise hell with the people that are putting those fish through absolute horror. I'm not. They are.
Yeah.
M3 says dark stained, heavy planted small spaces. That's basically right. Basically right. The kind of water they're in, it tends to be stained. It tends to have a lot of dead and dying vegetation in it, which means it has a very high level of microfauna, and that's their food. That's what they eat. They eat live food. They eat microfauna in the wild. That's the only thing they eat. That's where they're poking around on the bottom all the time. They're looking for microfauna and macrofauna, little shrimp, little worms, those those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's really a food web is an absolute perfect way of keeping bettas. I do want to mention I bought this week 20 scarlet Bettis, and I've got them in 2 tanks, and I can't find them.
Oh no.
I'll show you the tanks, and you'll know why. These are the tanks. I can't get very close here. I don't think. No, that's about as. Hold on a second. Got a little bit of a tangle. I can get a little closer, not much. Uh, that's as close as I can get. You see, they're deep, dark tanks, and that one's even worse. There are about 100 fish in each of
Wow.
those tanks. They're 29-gallon tanks.
Wow.
Been set up for about 2.5 years. The substrate in them is from my old shop, so that substrate is almost 20 years old. Um,
Wow, that's impressive.
no, 15 years old. Substrate's about 15 years old. The tanks are pretty stable, but I need to get into them now that I'm getting a shop open. I need to get in there. There are a lot of fish I've just been kind of holding um, that I want to be able to put in the shop. So I'll be probably pulling everything out of those tanks in another couple of weeks or so. Deborah Patrovic, Deborah Patrovic. Too funny, yes. Well, my golden guppies are not making babies. Hum. I understand the problem. I'm not sure I have a solution for it. I think if you really want to get a colony of bettas going, you need to number one put them in a tank by themselves, a heavily planted tank. Water conditions are not particularly important. Keep the temperature around 80 degrees. That will allow the embryo to develop more quickly. It's a better temperature for embryonic development. Feed as much as you possibly can live food. Now, that sounds complicated. It does not need to be. You can go to the supermarket and buy shrimp. Uh, um, you want raw shrimp. Put them in the freezer. Take one out and scrape it with a knife. Take the shell off and scrape it. The tiny scrapings that you get are a perfect food. That's a live food. That's a food that will provide the level of protein that they need in order to be able to create eggs, to create sperm, and to spawn and to get those embryo developing. It'll also have natural fats in it that they will need in order to be able to feed those embryo. So do that. Feed them exclusively that scraped food. Don't do it more than once a day, twice if you're really careful. You don't want to overdo it. You don't need to overdo it. If you get a meal in them every day, then they will thrive on that. And you'll notice that the females will get fat quicker and they'll start dropping babies. So to try that approach, it's going to work a whole lot better than any kind of dry food will. The problem with dry foods is there is filler in them. They all contain filler. And the filler is usually cornmeal or some other kind of grain, which is essentially not digestible. It's waste. So it's not providing any nutrient for the fish. And they tend also to be low protein. and you need high protein. So the natural food, you can do the same thing with fish, shrimp, scallops, any kind of, and you don't have to spend much money. I mean, one shrimp that will cost you 25 cents, 50 cents tops, will last in the freezer for a month. That's pretty cheap food for the best quality food you can get.
Yeah,
So,
that's way better price than what you pay for a pack of frozen bloodworms. It's like $8 for those little cubes of bloodworms.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that frozen shrimp idea, that's ingenious.
And it's better too. The frozen bloodworms have been frozen in those packages typically for 1 to 2 years,
Wow.
sometimes longer. They are typically freezer burned. They have lost their nutrient value a long time ago. It's rare to be able to get a frozen fish food that is fresh. Typically, I think most of them have a package date on them if you look carefully. When you buy, look for a package date. Don't buy anything more than 3 months old because it will have substantially reduced food value.
Hey, that's good to know.
Oh, dart frogs. Oh, my stud has dart frogs.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Oh,
That's
they're one.
cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that you're breeding them means you're feeding live food. What are you feeding? I know a lot of different kinds of food are fed to. I had a friend who fed them termite larvae.
Oh, that's a good idea.
He had a big field in the back of him, and he had loaded it with food with rotting lumber, so it was full of termites. And he would go out and collect a few hundred termite larvae and bring them in and feed them. And of course, they crawled around until they were eaten. And he was always breeding them. Did he do? Um, Eric Chartrand, here's a really good question. How long did it take you to establish your aquarist business? Can we get a testimony about that all come together? Well, I tell you, from the time I took it seriously, I was selling I was selling uh, wholesale to pet shops when I was a teenager, but it was a hit or miss kind of thing. It wasn't something I was doing to support myself. When I was in graduate school in Boston, I was raising guppies and selling them. Again, it was not enough to really be able to support me. After that, I was busy doing other things until I got to Florida in the 90s, 1990s. By the year to 1998 or so, I got on Aquabid, and that was when I started actually supporting myself selling online on Aquabid. I was making about $1,000 a week gross. My net was about 600 plus. I would go up to the wholesaler, it was Segrest at the time, and I would paw through thousands of Bettis and pull out the nicest ones. Now, this is when Bettis were $1.25 a piece.
Yeah.
So I would find the best ones. I would put them on Aquabid with a minimum bid of $15. I would give them a name like um, Flying Firebird or American Eagle or some other fancy name. I would do a picture of them, a photograph that I had carefully shot enough of to be able to actually, I did it with a camera that I could pull frames off of, and I would
Wow.
pull just the right frame. So it was pretty involved. I spent, it was full time. Because I then not only did I have to do all of that, which was hard enough, and then keep them alive and healthy,
Yeah.
and keep them separate and keep them in order so I could get back to them. I put numbers on their container, and the number showed up on the picture, so that's how I linked them. Um, and then of course I had to ship them out. But the real time consuming part of it was talking to people who were bidding, and that was hours every day. So I did that for 3 or 4 years, and then got into repping for some fish farms, selling to fish stores. I did that for 4 or 5 years. In the meantime, I also had a couple of jobs. I worked at Moat Marine for a while doing grants writing, so I was around fish a lot. Uh, I got I started collecting um, saltwater. I was collecting pygmy seahorses, starfish, shrimp, little crabs, things that could be sold into the hobby. I did wholesale and retail doing that, and then eventually decided to give it all up because I realized I could make a really good living as a copywriter. Copywriter is a person who writes for businesses. They write formal letters, they write catalogs, they write promotional material, they write letters for all of the different things that a business needs written written letters, not contracts, but descriptive stuff. I had a friend who was doing it. He was setting me up in the business. I bought all of the literature, spent about $500 on a cheat book that had almost all of it already written, that just needed to be adapted, and was looking for my first contract when I got a call from some friends in town. This was in Venice, Florida, who had a little pet shop, and they wanted to get rid of the fish department. It was separated out in one bay. They had rented 3 bays in a little strip mall. They asked me if I wanted it. I said, no, I'm already busy doing something. They said, look, we'll give it to you for just next to nothing. And I thought about it. My mother's mother, my Aunt Dorothy, had always said to me, she very many times she said to me, I really could see you running a fish shop. And it was kind of something I always wanted to do. So I figured, I can always do this copyright thing. Let me take a year. I'll do the fish store for 1 year and get it out of my system. So I bought it for, I think I paid $1,000, which I paid him off over a period of a couple of months. So it was not hurtful. And then within a couple of months, a guy walked in who wanted to finance my business to move into a bigger location. So I decided, what the heck, I'll do that. My I had another friend who was a landlord who had a lot of property. He offered me this magnificent building at a really cut rate. So I did that, took the funding to move into it. The funding was actually payment for um, a corporate thing that I created, or that was created for me, that it wound up being a little questionable, but I was never in any trouble over it. He was, I wasn't, because it was all part of my business, and it was a legitimate business. So I was doing legitimate business. Anyway, that gave me the money to be able to build out the shop. Before I knew it, I was 10 years in,
Time flies
and
when you're having fun.
and had developed a lot of things, and really gotten the the natural tank nailed to the wall. It was something I'd wanted to do for a long time, and I got it nailed down. I had hundreds of tanks to work with, so I was able to experiment a lot, and I got it perfected, and started doing videos on that, and then that led to developing a whole approach to maintaining systems. By then, uh, uh, another friend of mine who had tried to get me to do YouTube 10 years before, or 7 years before, said, listen, you really need to do this. So I looked at it again, and by then it was monetized, and I understood it. I really hadn't before that. There are some of those original videos that are up on my channel. You can go back and look at them. They're they're pretty poor, but they're interesting and they're historic. Anyway, um, I started. That was 5 years ago, and that's what I've been doing now for 5 years. In the meantime, closed that shop down, moved north, got a whole new business going with plants based on based on the natural tank and the YouTube channel, which is providing the market for it. We're now trying to expand to Amazon to get a bigger market share and be able to grow that business, moving into a new facility. And for the first time, I'm actually making money. I'm spending it all,
That's the way it
mostly,
goes.
yeah, mostly on payroll. I've got, I think 9 people on payroll. Three of them in, excuse me, 3 of them in the shop. The others are on the YouTube or Discord or the book. So I'm spreading the wealth around, which is a joy for me to do because I really don't need the money. I wouldn't know what to do with it. If I get to the point where I've got $100,000, I'll buy a house because I'd like to have a house. And I might do that, but I might not. I'm comfortable basically with what I'm doing. So that's my story. Cheers.
Yeah, I can't remember who made the comment, but somebody said that you ought to write an autobiography of your life, Father Fish. So that's a thought.
Well, there's another evolution in this. That's something I've been giving more and more serious consideration to, and realizing more and more that I need to do it. And that is, most of you who have known me for a while know that I have a kind of a theological philosophical bent, and it has a lot to do with my understanding of the world. It comes out occasionally in this format. Um, and my attitude is, like it or leave it. It is who I am. But the reality is, I need to set up a blog channel, another channel. Probably we'll call it Louis Foxwell. I've got it already set up. I haven't done anything yet. I finally got approved to be able to do live streaming on it. So that's going to happen pretty soon here now, I think. Um, and we'll see where it goes. I want a venue to be able to really talk about some of the concerns I have for where we are as a culture, for what's happening in our country and in the world, and for what what we need to do about it. Because I think there are things we all of us as individuals need to do about it. So look for that. It's going to be happening. Copywriting, good. It's perfect for freelancing. um, yeah, copywriting is a wonderful. You can live anywhere in the world and be able to support yourself. And copy, if you're good at it, you can make easy 100,000 a year probably a quarter of a million a year. I mean, and there's no overhead.
That's
Your
cool.
overhead is being able to type a computer. There's just really no overhead at all. It's amazing business. But I'm not doing that.
Even
But I'm
fun.
gonna do the next best thing. I'm gonna do a channel where I'm gonna tell you what I really think is what I'm gonna do.
That could be pretty cool.
Tell you what I really think.
Hey, I just subscribed. I didn't know you had it already up. That's cool.
The channel is there, I think. It's called Louis Foxwell, I believe.
Yeah,
Is it
Tweet
not?
Tweet just shared it.
Oh, cool. Okay. You
Yeah,
too, a father fish. Oh, is that it? Really? Huh.
is that the right one?
I don't know. Let's see where it goes. That's no, that's not it.
That's not it.
That no. That's the original. That's oh my word. That's the original channel that I do not. You know what? Oh, this is crazy. This is linked to Father Fish Aquarium. If you look at, I'm looking at the stats on it, and it's the Father Fish stats.
Yeah, and it's from
Honestly,
12 years ago, 9 years ago is when the videos are from.
855,000 K views. Oh wow! No, it's not either. This is the original channel that I lost the password to.
Oh, I know how that goes.
And so I've never been able to do anything with it. I have the few videos that are on it 9 years ago. Wow. Yeah, these are all the original video. And
Wow.
it has, look at this though. It's got in the last 30 days, it's got 855,000 views. That can't be right.
That
That can't be right.
can't
That's
be
got to
right.
be Father Fish. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
It's not showing me the stats on my end.
Let's see what channel it's on. View your channel. Father Fish at Father Fish. There's the Father Fish channel. Huh.
Yeah.
855. That's weird. No, it's showing the stats on the Father Fish channel. Now that I wonder, I don't understand.
I wonder if there's a way to recover the password. Like maybe it's like when you lose your password, you just click forgot password.
Well,
And
the thing that I'm confused about, switch account. Let's see. Father Fish, Lou Foxwell, no subscribers. Okay, there's another channel called Lou Foxwell. Let me post the link. That's 3G has posted one.
is this going to be the channel that you're going to use?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
I'm
This
gonna
is
put it.
another one. Oh, this is another one. I lost this one. Honest to God. Lou
It's okay.
Fox
I've got some awesome ones too.
I got all kind of channels out there. This one I started um, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and it's got a few videos in it from then. Huh. I may abandon that. I probably won't use that. Yeah, this is my COVID. That's yeah.
Huh.
I was in a mag. I was talking. I got into a lot of trouble with Magtal because I was basically shooting them down. And then Amanda came up. We did a collab. That was Good Mother. She's still on. And then we did one with EJ. I had some EJ stuff too on there. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, this is a crazy. Wow. There's a lot on here.
It's always neat when you rediscover your lost channels. So that's just always something neat to see.
I probably ought to use this. It's got a lot of cool stuff on it. Huh. A lot of weird stuff on there. I might use this one. Let's see. Let me get this link. I don't know if I can get into it though. Let's see. View your channel. Huh. I don't know. I probably ought to just start a new one.
And it
It's
might be
hard.
easier.
Yeah, it will, and I won't have all the dead wood. Interesting. I wonder what else is there. It's got 121 subscribers, 22 videos. So it really hasn't done much. I think I won't. All right. Sorry about that rabbit hole, guys.
Hey, it was pretty cool though.
Wasn't my fault. Goki's Fish Nursery. Holly Gibbs is here. Hello, Holly. Happy to see you. ABVD. What else? Check out Two Caves Aquatics. Oh, I know. I saw he did a video today that was very, very cool. Yeah, but post Two Caves link. Somebody, he's a great, great channel. Really, really good channel. His outdoor pond project is just amazing.
Yeah.
3G's been around a while. That's right. Huh. Holly Gibbs, Freaky Fish Lady. What else we got here? DB. Hello, DB. I haven't seen DB in a while. Happy to see you. Subscribe. Good girl. Thank you so much. Eric Chartrand. Subbed up. Summoner retracted his message. Gone way back here. We all need a planet aquarium. The world be a better place. That's it. Do a Foxwell channel. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. Maybe just call it Foxwell.
Yeah, you could.
That wouldn't be bad. Maybe I'll do that. What I came up with was what I was thinking of a title, something about the real world reality, something like that. Just Foxwell. I think that'll be cool. I think I'll do Foxwell. Yeah, I'm going to do a new channel, and we'll just start fresh.
That would be cool too.
If I now, what I'm wondering is
Mhm.
what I was just looking at kind of shocked me because it looks to me like if I have multiple channels,
Yeah.
they all they all the views on all of them are composite.
Let's see. That's a good question. I wonder if it has to be separate emails or how you separate that out to actually get the true
Well,
stat.
it's going to be the same. It'll be the same password.
Oh, Stubbs got a good name for you in the comments. Foxwell Unfiltered.
That's good. I like that. That's good stuff. Huh. Guys Aquatics. How long should I cycle my 30-gallon? Let me give let me give Kai a wrench here. Okay, Kai's Aquatics, beginner fish keeper. Wondering how long I should cycle my 30-gallon planted tank and don't know when I am 100% ready for fish. Okay, you got a planted tank. I'm going to assume it is a deep substrate tank. You've got a dirt layer and a sand layer on top, and you got plants in there. Put fish in there, a few fish. It's a 30-gallon, a half a dozen small fish, no bigger than an inch size fish on day 2. Your tank will be fully cycled on day 2 when you put a half a dozen fish in it. Don't believe the lies about having to wait a month or 6 months or 10 years to get your
Right.
tank cycled. Your tank cycles when you put life in it. It does not cycle before you have living animals in it. It cannot. You got plants in it. The plants require animals in order for the plant to survive. The plant feeds on the nutrients created as waste by the animals. The animals depend on the plants to create the water conditions, which includes the oxygen level and everything else that the plants provide. So balance occurs when you put fish in the tank, not before you put them in the tank. It cannot be balanced without some animals. Could be shrimp, could be snails for that matter, could be clams. Any kind of animal will do. Doesn't really matter. Simplest thing is to put a few fish in right away, soon as you got plants in it. Alex wants to help with tech. Alex, I need all the help I can get. Meet me over on Discord, and if you will link up with Dina, right now she's being my tech pro. He's, he's involved in a lot of tech issues, um, and is getting more deeply involved in AI, as as is Naresh, as is our editor, our video editor. So we got a number of people doing techie stuff. We're also doing the book, and that's gonna involve some tech in terms of getting it published. We're gonna do it initially as an ebook in house, so you might be able to help with that as well. There are a lot of issues that we're involved in that are techie kind of issues, and I'm pretty hopeless in all of those areas. I know my way around. I've had computers since the late 70s. I had one of the very first computers that came out before the 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 Pong computer. I had a big $20,000 computer that couldn't do 1/1000th, 1/1,000,000th of what computers do today. It had a hard drive in it that was a 20-inch hard drive. I did
20-inch
bookkeeping
hard
on it.
drive. Whoa.
Bookkeeping. I did bookkeeping and statistical analysis on
Wow.
it. Um, so that's when everything was DOS. So I had to learn DOS to be able to do it, and I learned just enough to get in trouble. And I was kind of, I do what I do. I know how to do. But I spent a lot of years being frustrated until I finally met people who helped me get over my frustration. Why am I starting a new channel? I think the main reason is I want to be able to talk about stuff that is totally not fish related. It is in many ways nature related or earth related. A lot of it really is. So I could do that here, but it's kind of disjunctive. Um, and I don't really know how to do that. So I'm going to try it the other way because I also want to get into some religious stuff and political stuff, and I think it'll just be simpler if I do that as as a blog.
Yeah, I
It'll
think
be
it's
it's going to mostly be live streaming. I'm going to do live streaming. I'm not going to do blog because I don't know how, and I don't know how to promote it. I've had blogs up for about 6 months, and both of my blogs have a grand total of 2 views. So that obviously I can't figure that out. But we'll see. We'll see. If it turns out that it doesn't go anywhere, I'll just quit doing it and do something else. Kim Minnie loves the plant package. She won last Swivel. Happy it worked out well, Kim. Joe says you have to have a filter. It's an aquarium channel. I prefer to have a filter. Um, it's for me, it's a security thing. It just it's emotional security having a filter. I know it's not critical, and I've got two glass curio cases that are going to have jars and bowls in them, and they will not have filters in them. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be biotope things with bettas or small fish or shrimp or whatever in them. So I'm going to have a lot of those. Plus, I've got two very large, deep window sills with large windows. I can put shelves in that, and it gets afternoon sun. So there's a lot of sunlight that comes through those windows. I'm going to be doing a lot of uh, resurrection jar kind of.
That's gonna be nice.
So I'll be doing a lot of that sort of stuff that will not be filtered. Oh, Lee is here. Hello, Lee. Oh, wonderful. Once she's settled, who's settled? Been staying up all night. This is the oh, got a new kitten. Cat no. Oh, the cat needs to be settled. Nice to see you, Lee. Happy to have you here. Okra plutonium. Oh, we need to give Okra a wrench. Well, that I tried this before, and there were a bunch of people who came in from the fish channel, so somehow it pops up to my followers. So I know I'll get some initial people coming in. Peplin Creek is here. Happy to see you, Peplin Creek. Morning Star Quaid. Jason Eplin. New to your channel and method. What's your take on a pair of disc and a 65 dirty method heated in airstone? I think it'll work fine. I basically have done that. I would recommend a sponge filter rather than an air stone. It gives you double duty. It gives you the benefit of an air stone as well as being able to create um, a a biofilter. I'm not a purist in that sense. I will say I don't clean the sponge filters out. Usually, I'll let them go for about a year until until they get to the point where it looks like they're just not even working anymore.
Yeah.
And then I'll take them out and clean them.
And that's
Surf
really
City,
the best way to do it.
Surf City thinks a separate channel is better. I think it'll work better. It'll make me feel freer. I won't be feeling like I need to make an appeal to. It'll also allow me to create a new audience, and that's really I think what I want to be able to do.
Yeah, well.
Erie talking about what? What's he referring to? I don't even want to know. DeWitt and Martins. 4 years now here, but I say at the mo. The ant needs a wrench. Get you a wrench. Goki's Fish Nursery. Love to see you, Lee. Not open these days. Open about this time of night. Love to you too. Adam Armbruster's here. Hello, Adam. M618. Morningstar wants to know why he can't message anyone. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't either. Is he Morningstar, you talking about on Discord? Because you can come on the Discord message any of us. I'll
You
post a
just
link
need
for
to
you.
learn. You need to learn to use the DM.
Yeah.
Ask somebody there if you have. Here's the secret. There is a secret to Discord. Everyone who has trouble with Discord thinks they are smarter than the average bear and don't need to read the rules.
Mhm.
The issue is with reading the rules has nothing to do with the rules. It has to do with the secret word that is hidden in the rules that is the key that unlocks Discord. Without that key, you cannot get in. So, like it or not, read the rules.
And it's
And
not that hard if you read the rules. I swear it's not a really hard word, you guys.
you can almost guess it.
You really can't.
Erie just got back from a lovely picnic in the park. Yeah, ball and chain. You probably you're the ball. Probably you're the ball, Erie. I would. I think my hunch is that there's a lot of projection there.
Right.
DeWitt Martins. 4 years now, but I say at the mo. I don't know what that means, but I think it means he's been around for a long time. And it's never come up. So happy to have you. Any idea where the Bettis has a huge vertical lump down its side? Well, it's either a cancer or a parasite. And the best thing to do about it or with it is keep them as comfortable and happy as you can. There really is nothing you can do about it. There really is. I mean, you could lance it and discover what it is, but you probably will kill the fish in the process. If it's a boil, a bubble, that kind of thing that you can poke and drain, that's one thing. You can try doing that. You can try poking it with a needle and see if it drains. It may just be fluid. They do get fluid. Very often it's on the cheek or around the head. So you can try that. It's either going to kill them or go away. And probably it's going to kill them. There really isn't, there's no medication for it. You can feed them garlic, but that's not going to make a difference, probably. It's just one of those things that try poking it with a needle. I remember going through this with Mary Page. She had a betta that had a bubble on its head, I think. And she lanced it and it made it better, but it came back after a few months and she wound up losing it. It's just one of those things. Erie first wants Father Fish to give me away at the wedding. I know he'll jump at the opportunity to get rid of it. Where do I even begin? That would compromise my morality. Actually. In the most fundamental way. I mean, to do that would condemn me to hell and damnation.
That means he's keeping you, Eire. He's keeping you.
Madness, madness. Adrian Cabrera. Welcome, welcome. Let's get you a wrench. Adrian Cabrera. Adrian Cabrera. Welcome, welcome. Bonjour, bonjour. A bientôt. Asia Llewellyn, my sponge filters are living things at this point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will touch them unless it's necessary. That's the key to it. They really are. They're just an additional and a rather substantial biological system in your tank that has enormous benefit. Well worth doing. It's certainly not natural, but it is profoundly beneficial. And I think if you look at things like heaters, lights, air pumps, filters, none of them are natural, but they are highly beneficial. A thermometer is a case in point. Having a thermometer in your tank is a very helpful thing to do. It tells you when the heaters quit working. William Avery, getting the rooted plant back. Should I float them like I do? Now go ahead and plant them. Plant them right away, William. You don't need to float them. If you've got a new tank, make sure that those roots are not down in the dirt, because in a new tank, that dirt is not chelated yet, and it has enough chemical activity going on that it will burn the roots. So you want to plant them no more than 1 inch into the sand, halfway down into the sand, and then let the roots find the nutrition. They're good at it. They'll do it in a day. Eire is touched. Eire is touched. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. That's right. That's exactly right. You got it. Nailed it. Eire is touched. They titched, we call it. He's titched. Titched. You know about titch? I had a nephew. Nephew. And that was a term he used a lot. He would say, well, that's titched. That's just titched.
I'm gonna have to use that one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. By golly, save you a seat next to mine on the way down. You go, Corey. I'll tell you what. I got over on my new channel. We'll see if we can start climbing that ladder. Backyard agriculture. Thinking about starting my first tank with some glowfish danios. Considering using fluval biostratum for substrate with a sand cap. What are your thoughts? Yeah, sure, do it. In a year, there will be no nutrients left in it, and you'll have to start fertilizing it. Or you can do a deep substrate, use the biostratum as soil, add to it compost and peat moss, 2 parts peat moss, 1 part compost, and 1 part biostratum, and then purchase the supplement from Father Fish and put an appropriate amount in with that. Mix that all together. Put an inch of it in the bottom of your tank and put 2 inches sand on top. That will give you a substrate that will last literally forever, for as long as your tank is set up, because it will have enough trace elements and nutrients in it to keep it going until it fully cycles, which takes 3 to 5 years. So do what you want to do, but that's what I would recommend. Is Cornwall's in Erie's dungeon. Lowers lotion. Oh my God. You guys are out of control. Totally out of control.
They've watched a little bit too much of Silence of the Lambs. It's this horror movie
Yeah,
from the 90s. I think they watched it on repeat.
we do have fun, DB. That's absolutely. Absolutely do. I like Dina because she laughs at me. Just
That's because you're hilarious.
precious. I was talking about Precious Tranquility. There's a channel. Check out Precious Tranquility.
I'll see if I can find
One of my true loves, Precious Tranquility. There have been a few, and there continue to be a few. Lee Wilcox, tank crashed 6 months ago. Good, you need to do it. Go for it, Lee. And get over on Discord. You can get on Discord 3 o'clock in the morning. You can get on there 24 hours a day. Whenever you're available, doesn't matter. And have lots of people to talk to. I'm on there all the time. JO, does too much sodium thiosulfate or the byproduct salt have potential to kill green water culture? Good question. Probably yes. Probably. Although green water can survive. I don't know if it can survive brackish water. I'm not sure about that. I've never seen green brackish water. I'll tell you what though, we're not using sodium thiosulfate anymore. We're using vitamin C because it has no salt in it. It is slightly acidic, but so slightly it really doesn't make a difference, and it does not counteract the buffers. It removes chlorine and breaks down chloramine, so it's safer. And if you dump a whole bottle in, it's not going to hurt anything. It's completely um, non-toxic, totally non-toxic. So we've started. I'm not even selling the sodium thiosulfate anymore. I'm selling vitamin C tablets, which you can buy a 500 jar, 1,000 unit tab of them at the drugstore for about $10. They're dirt cheap. I don't sell them for much. I do it as a convenience. Lasagna substrate.
I couldn't find the YouTube channel Precious Tranquility. It just keeps coming up music, so I couldn't
She
hit
may
it.
have taken it down.
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be a shame. Let's see. You checked on YouTube, huh?
yeah. I checked on YouTube and it just comes up different songs.
Huh. Well, she probably took it down. She had a lot of really beautiful goldfish on that fancy goldfish.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful fancy goldfish. What am I doing here? Honestly. Ah,
I feel you on that. Oh, Stan Pittman's got to go. He'll see us later for the show and tell. That'll be awesome. Guys, make sure to show up
wonderful.
Wednesday night for the show and tell.
Yeah, see you all there. It's
Hmm.
a lot of fun. I think um what are we doing? Audio. Oh, yeah, it's gone. She took
Sorry
it
to hear
down.
that.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here it is. I got it.
is. Nice. Oh, backyard agriculture, Father Fish. He wants you to know that this is Frank that called a few days ago.
Oh, okay. Copy. I got this link here.
Oh, now I got the
Oh,
link.
Roxy is here. Hey, Roxy, happy to see you. Frank called on the phone a few days ago. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. What did we talk about, Frank? I get 20 calls a day. I can't keep them straight by name, but I can by topic.
That's it.
I know what I talk about. I just don't know who I talk to about it. Foxy's fishes. Excuse me. Elliot123. My name is Elliot. I'm 14 years old. I've had aquarium for 1.5 years. And a month I got my first stingray.
Wow.
Wow. A
That's
Motoro.
awesome.
Oh my
Wow.
word. 180 by 80 by 50. Stingrays find it needs. Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
They are, yeah, I was looking at the price. That's an enormously expensive fish anymore.
Mhm.
Just shockingly expensive fish. Let's see. Ever considered doing a traveling meet and greet? Yeah, I have, Dion. And it's something I really would like to do. I thought about like announcing, trying to find somebody in a given city to find a place to meet, a restaurant, like a conference room in a restaurant, or someplace cheap, church hall or something, anything, and then promote that for a month as a father fish meet and greet or a shoal meet and greet, whatever, just to be able to get together with people. I think it would be great fun. I really would like to do it. And it's something that we could do a lot of really cool things with. So being able to do a fish swap or an auction would be great fun.
Yeah, it
Uh,
would.
having a having a program presentation, uh, giving out gifts. I mean, there's so many things that would make that great fun. My problem right now is that I'm totally locked in to this shop I'm opening and business I'm running. It's got me locked down essentially 7 days a week. Now, I have been able to get away um, one day a week to go visit some clubs and do presentations. I've done 3 or 4 in the last 6 months or so that are a few hour drive away. So I can certainly do that. But I would love to be able to do it. Um, it's just a matter of I need somebody to coordinate it. I think that's what would make it happen. I need a I need a party coordinator, a party planner. We need a party planner, somebody who wants to take that on as a project, and I will lend myself to it and be available to it, and would love to be able to do it. I really don't have the time that it's going to require to try to put that together, and Dina doesn't either. Dina, that's something you that's something you would jump on. I can see it coming.
Yeah.
I, I
Hey,
put I put
Eric,
Dana on payroll at 250, 2.5 hours a day. That very quickly went to 5 hours. We're now approaching full time. Well,
yeah,
it's getting totally out of hand.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it really is. And I'm waiting for the day when her husband's gonna put his foot down. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that.
I don't think it will.
Well, I've had that happen before. I've had it happen a couple of times. And it's sad when it does because
Yeah.
it was something that was very meaningful and enjoyable to the woman in question. But her, um, it created domestic conflict,
That's sad.
um, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that
Um,
is. No, my husband, he's just like, hey, you finally found something you love doing. I'm just happy that you found something that you love doing that does not involve you getting shot at and being a cop. I'm glad of that.
uh, really. Well, and you're able to stay at home and do it, and that's a big help
Yeah,
too.
that's true.
And it links in with other stuff you're doing. So it's and your husband's such a nice guy. I just
Yeah, he is.
I love him to pieces. He's just a great guy, and has been enormously helpful.
Yeah,
So
he's really good at anything computers. I mean, you hand him a computer, he's been on a computer since pretty much they first come out and was available in this area in the 80s. So,
well,
yeah.
well,
Hey, Erie first has a real question for you. Dina,
sure.
will Father Fish give his blessings to the relationship of me and Katie, please? No joke. I know he'll think I'm messing with him. So he says he's not joking. And it's not Cornwall. I was thinking he was talking about Cornwall.
I tell you what, come on over to Discord and let's get a little DM. We can do a private video conversation. Let's do that. I'd like to meet you, and I'd like to meet Katie. And
There you
and I
go.
and I'm sure that the two of you are have a golden relationship. I just want to see it firsthand, so that I can give my blessing to you directly and personally. So get on Discord, find me in a DM. Let's get together. I'd love to do it. Mattis Factory would be below the heart. What are we talking about?
I'm not sure on that.
Is there a smiling icon or anything next to it below? I don't talking to
Uh,
DeWitt Martins. This this is goes back too far and it's too linked to too many other things. I don't want to look it up.
And Erie first, yes, you can get your head around Discord. If I
Oh,
can learn Discord, anybody can. It's just read the rules, you'll get it.
oh, they're talking about super chat.
Yeah. Where is Super Chat?
Yeah, got it, got it. I did find it. Bettis compose. Bon nuit, bon nuit, beta, beta compose, beta compose. Arge, It's an R. It's R. RJ. 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 Beta compo. Beta. Beta compose RJ. Moi c'est. Voilà. Voilà voici. Ainsi. Aussi net. Aussi. Hola. La bientôt. A bientôt. Beta. Beta compo. Beta compo RJ. One week. Oui. Ça va bien. And a wrench.
How many languages do you know, Father Fish?
Actually, two.
Yeah.
I have a smattering of French. I don't consider that knowing a language. I know the American Sign Language.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm pretty good at that, and I speak I speak the colonists' English. But I've lived in a lot of different places. I've lived in the deep south, and I've lived in New England. So I've been around a lot of accents and a lot of different language structures and language use. So I've kind of picked up. And I was in theater for a long time,
Oh, that's cool.
which is where you also pick up a lot of language, kind of language variations. But I'm not particularly good at it. I just play with it. But it comes from Brazil, Brazil, not French at all, Brazil. So so that's oh my word. My brain just went my brain just did one of those flips where it went totally out of sync.
It happens. Mine does it too.
I'll have to get that back together momentarily.
I don't know why Erie first typed in Doom. I don't know. Are you guys talking about the video game Doom? Because I don't know what you guys are talking about in chat.
Could I just replace the by and start them every year? Oh well, thank you, Frank. Well, what you're talking about is breaking your tank down every year. You know, there are people who do that. I mean, there are a lot of people who do that. They break it down, do something different with it. You know, that's not anything I'm involved in. It's not a direction that I go in. It's not anything I'm involved in. When I set a tank up, I set it up as a permanent environment because I'm interested in it long term. And if I want to do something different, I set up another tank. Uh, uh, I won't break that one down to do something different. So I I am addicted to MTS, which is having as many tanks as I can possibly find space for.
I feel you
Um,
on that.
yeah, and there's always room for one more tank. So,
Mhm.
and that's part of the reason I moved to be able to do a lot more tanks. I'm going from 8 to 10 tanks where I have been, and about 25 to 30 vats to 100 tanks and 100 vats. And it may well grow beyond that, although I think I can do what I want to do within that structure. I am looking for a very large tank. If anyone knows of anything bigger than 500 gallons, 1,000 gallons might be max, 1,500 maybe. I'd have to be able to move it. Um, I could afford to have something transported, but I don't want to go across the country. So it would have to be on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, somewhere in this area where I could put it on a flatbed and get it to me. But I would like to do that. I would like to have a very large tank, minimum 500 gallons. If anyone knows of one, I'd be happy to hear about it.
Have you thought about using one of the stock tanks? Because they have stock tanks for like cattle and different livestock. Because I've been looking into those that are
Well,
up to
that's
1,000 gallons.
yeah, that's a pond. I don't want a pond. I want a tank. I want a glass or
Oh,
plexi front.
gotcha.
I want something to look into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some ponds. Um, Probably there'll be 300 to 400 gallon uh, ponds. I'm gonna do at least two. I had two at the old shop, and they really worked out well. What else are we on here? 18 to 2. Holly Gibbs. Yeah, you need to get it back. Get turned around there, Holly. Get going back in the right direction.
Oh, and
Very
Eric has a
perfect.
really good question for you, Father Fish.
Sure.
He says, I noticed you had some turtles. Is the waste from turtles a lot more difficult to manage in a natural aquarium? Does he need a specific plant? I enjoyed the turtle video. It's a really good question because I've been looking into that and
It
researching.
is. Here's the thing. There are there is the mentality that a turtle or a large fish creates more waste. And in a sense they do, but that really is not the issue. The issue is how much they are fed. A turtle, for example, in the wild, a turtle will eat on average of once a week, and it will not eat a great deal. It may eat a small dead fish. It may eat some vegetable matter. It will eat a few mouthfuls, enough to fill its gut. It can't swell up the way a fish can, so it can only eat a limited amount. And then it will spend the rest of the week digesting that. Feeding a turtle every day creates more waste than it would if it were fed naturally. So the issue of big fish is exactly the same. Feeding less frequently, large fish have fat reserves. Little fish don't so much, particularly young fish. Baby fish must eat every day because they have no fat reserves. Once they become mature and build up fat reserves, they can go for periods of time with no food at all and simply burn off that fat as energy. And if they go a week or 2 weeks or even a month, it doesn't hurt them. They can replenish that once they hit an and it'll go. It'll be like, for example, if there's a colony of fish in a pond and it doesn't rain for months at a time, the fish are going to eat up all of the microfauna and insects and smaller fish and whatever else is in there. It's not until it rains and the rain washes nutrients into the pond that a new population of microfauna and macrofauna can flush and or can flush out, I should say, can can expand and develop and grow, providing nutrients, providing food for those fish. So the fish may go a month or longer with no available food, just an occasional tiny little bug they spot somewhere until the rain washes enough nutrients in there to build up that food web, which can happen in a matter of days. I mean, it happens very quickly. And then they're able to eat again. So it's normal for fish to go of long periods of time. I'm not talking about a year, although I've seen that happen with bigger fish. They can go an extraordinarily long period of time, mainly because they're able to maintain their equilibrium in the water without expending any energy.
That
They're
makes
able to lower their metabolism to the point where they're burning maybe a calorie an hour rather than 100 calories a minute. And if they've got available in fat 100,000 calories, they can last a very long time without even depleting uh, the fat reserves. So the notion with larger fish, I'm not talking about little tiny fish or baby fish. They do need to eat more often. But even very small fish, once they become mature, they put on body fat. And that body fat sustains them. Not as long to be sure. A week, 2 weeks, a month, they kind of max out. But they are able to maintain themselves to the point where you do not need to feed them every day. Now I feed my fish every day, mainly so I don't forget. But I feed them just a pinch. I got maybe 100 fish in here. They get one pinch of food, so they all get a grain or two, and that's it. I'm feeding dry food. I'm feeding the high quality Japanese food. It's 50% protein. It's a very good quality food with no filler. So I feel comfortable doing it. I finally have found a source for live blackworm. So I'm going to be feeding live blackworm. I've got it in the fridge now. Once we get moved, I'm going to be setting that up. I'm not going to ship it because it has to ship overnight. If you're willing to pay $25 and take the risk of getting it with no guarantees, it's going to cost minimum order will be 25, so it's going to be a $50 order with no guarantees. I am going to beef up my styrofoam. I've been using a half-inch styrofoam. I'm going to switch over to peanuts because with peanuts, I can completely fill every space in the box that doesn't have plants or fish in it with styrofoam, which provides a great deal more uh, um, insulation than the sheets of styrofoam do.
Oh, that'd be good.
So we're in the works to do that. I'm also going to go to my own box rather than I've been using the priority boxes from the post office. I was shipping them flat rate. I'm not doing that anymore, which means I'm technically misusing the boxes. I've only been called on it by one postmaster in Arizona. Nobody else in the country has called me on it yet, but they will get around to it, I'm sure. So I need to make that transition. I'm in the market now looking for places to buy boxes and to get the styrofoam. So that's all in the works. What
Oh,
else?
that'll be nice when that gets set up.
Yeah, it's going to take a little effort, but it does not radiate heat, Erie. It holds heat or it holds cold. Whatever the core temperature is, it holds that against the external temperature. So it acts, it's basically air pockets. So you've got air in there that doesn't move, so it doesn't transition. So it holds air in stasis in microscopic pockets. So if you got something at the core that's cold, and the external temperature is hot, it's going to take a while for that heat to work its way into the core. In the meantime, the core is going to be radiating out cold. Now, we also add a cold pack, an ice pack to that in the summer, or a heat pack to it in the winter to further stabilize that temperature. It's not a permanent fix. It's good for 2 or 3 days with adequate styrofoam. The sheets of styrofoam we're using really doesn't last more than 2 days, and many of our shipments are 3 or 4 days. So we need to make that transition. We've been adding broken up styrofoam to it and extra ice packs, but I think the fix is going to be the peanuts.
Yeah,
I
that's
did that years ago, and it was pretty effective. Can you have bones or skulls in the aquarium? Yeah, absolutely. It breaks down. It's provides carbonates. It's calcium, so it provides carbonates, which are a buffer. It helps to buffer your tank. It also provides a wealth of nutrients. So it's really a very valuable source of nutrient, particularly for the plants. Plants use a lot of calcium. So yes, by all means. Also, microfauna use calcium. They use it in their shells, and many of them are shelled creatures. So it's very beneficial to have bone or skull. I use bone powder. I add bone meal to my supplement. That's a significant ingredient in the supplement is bone meal. Also blood meal for much the same reason. Let's see. Do not.
backyard agriculture has a question for your father fish. He says, Father Fish, does that mean the Danios that I'm going to get do not have fat reserves and will need to be fed more often? If so, how often?
No, that's not what it means. It means that they do not have substantial fat reserves. They do, if they're adults, they do have fat reserves. And by adults, that means large enough to spawn, which is pretty small for fish, out of the embryonic stage, essentially, or out of that early zygote stage. Um, to the point where they're swimming as a normal fish and are showing uh, um, adult behavior, breeding behavior. At that point, they build up fat. Their fat reserves are not substantial. They're not fat fish. They're relatively thin fish. So they can go without food for probably a month without suffering. I would not let them go more than a week in order to keep them in optimal condition. Now, there's another issue here. If you're maintaining, if you're doing a maintenance tank means feeding sporadically or building a food web. That means your fish are eating at at um, at a reduced rate, at a rate that's adequate to maintain their health and maintain their vigor, but not enough for them to be able to create the sperm and the eggs that are needed to spawn. That only happens when the fish, typically in the spring, have a sudden flush of food and they eat a great deal and beef up and are able then to generate the the uh, the sperm and the egg to be able to breed. As food resources diminish, they lose that capacity. That's the first thing the nutrients are taken away from. in order for them to be able to sustain themselves. So that gives you a sense of how to deal with your tank. If you want to get them spawning, increase the food. To get them more stable long term, decrease that food. You don't want to try to keep them in full breeding mode all the time because it will burn their bodies out. They will not live as long. They will be maxed out, and they'll be they'll be um, they'll be functioning at a very high level, which will burn out their cell structure in a shorter period of time than if they were more stable. In other words, their metabolism will be at a higher level. So it's going to burn them out quicker. They won't live as long. So yeah, that's the consideration. If you want to have your fish live a long time, do not feed them every day. It's really quite simple. If you want to get them to spawn, feed them every day, feed them more heavily for a limited period of time, like a month to 2 months, and then diminish that. Go back to the twice a week. Twice a week is a really good regimen. I should not feed every day. I do. I feed tiny amounts, but I notice that I get cloudiness from it. This tank has some cloudiness, and I know it's from feeding every day. If I feed once every 3 days, my problem is I'll forget and I won't feed for weeks at a time. And then the little fish will begin to suffer. So it's my problem. It's not the fish's problem. I create problems for the fish. Can I have bones or skulls? That's a good question. Hungry fish is a healthy fish. That's right. Every other day or 3 times a week. That's a good system. But don't feed more heavily. Don't feed more heavily because you're feeding less frequently. Don't make that mistake. Don't say, well, I haven't fed them for 3 days. I need to give them a whole lot. No, 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 no. That's not the idea. The idea is to feed a small amount every 2 or 3 days. You want them to be hungry. You want them to be hungry. You don't want them to be eating so much that they become sluggish. Because if they do that, they will become sick because the water will become foul. The water will be you're playing a a saturation game at that point, and that's kind of where I'm at with this. That's why I've got cloudiness. I've got biological saturation in this tank because I've been feeding them every day for about a month, maybe longer, maybe 2 months. So I need to control that. Glad you brought this up. I hadn't really thought about it, but that clarifies what's going on here. So, small amount every other day, even every 3 days. You can do it once a week. That might make you crazy. Kanav Chadari. Let me get a wrench here for Chanav and see what he's got to say. Something about silicone. Do you think expandable foam and silicone sealant is safe for any girls who want to use it to make a cave? The silicone certainly is. I've seen expandable foam used. The problem with expandable foam is that it is full of air pockets, which makes it lighter than the water, which means it's going to want to come up, which means you're creating an environment in the water that is basically fighting against the water. It's creating an upward pressure in that area where it exists. I'm uncomfortable with that. maybe for no good reason, but I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't know if foam will expand in water. My hunch is it probably will not, but it might be worth using it in water because it does provide nice structure and a nice texture. So you might try that. That water will probably have toxins in it as it gases off. So you want to replace the water and then let it dry. Um, I don't I don't know. I've never used it.
See, what I'm
So
curious on is, are they talking about the stuff that you repair walls with, or are they talking about this stuff that's for pond and stone repairs? Like, I'm wondering, like, which type of
yeah,
foam they're
well,
talking
yeah,
about.
it's the expandable
There's
foam.
like a lot of expandable foams. There's some that's you can use in a pond, but then there's others that is like for repairing holes in walls and electrical. So I'm I'm not sure if they're talking
Or
about, yeah,
sealing
or the
spaces
ceiling
in the
foam.
wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
ceiling
so
foam.
many different types.
Yeah. Um, I think if I were going to get into it, I would see what it does in water, because that might be a real solution. I'm sure I've seen DM use it. I mean, MD Tropicals use it
Mhm.
effectively. I've seen other people use it in in uh, in in other kind of environments where they're creating like a habitat for a lizard or something.
Mhm.
So and then carve it and sculpt it. It's a nice product to work with. I've never messed with it. I probably should because it would be interesting to do that. And it might help me with one of the problems that I have, which is I put I put hardscape in a tank and then I put so many plants in it you can't see the hardscape.
Yeah.
And it winds up just being a mishmash, having no structure at all. So that might help me deal with the structure issue. That's one of the things I'm going to work on. I've received enough criticism for having messy tanks that I'm going to start doing. So I'm going to start trying to do some more attractive tanks. This is really an effort to do that, to have fewer tanks, fewer plants with more open space to allow certain kinds of plants to be featured because there are plants that are really pretty exquisite.
And see, I love the way you do your tanks. They look so natural. Like it's just like you're looking into a glass box that's inside of a river or a pond or a stream.
Well, yeah, it's true. It's very
Yeah.
natural. Somebody asked me about it recently, and they said, "Why are your tanks always so messy?" And I said, "Well, they're messy because I want to be able to demonstrate to people that a slob can do this. You don't have to have any skills at all. You dump dirt, you cover it with sand, you stick plants in. I mean, duh.
Right?
That's as smart as you need to be. A
Mhm.
3-year-old can do it.
Yeah.
Not that 3-year-olds are slobs and dumb.
They
Dumb
just
means
need to learn.
it's just that they're
Mhm.
3 years old. You know,
Exactly.
maybe not three, maybe four. Probably a 3-year-old could do it actually. You know, if they understood dirt, then sand, then plant, they could do that. That ain't hard. I mean, that really ain't hard. It's as easy as it can, and that's the reason. I mean, I've wanted to take the pressure off of people feeling like getting nervous about setting up a tank and setting up a tank with plants in it, much less. My God, how many people have said, "Oh, I can't grow plants." Oh my God, not
Right.
plants. Oh my word, I don't want plants in my tank. I don't want. No, don't make me. They'll die. You know, it just. So I say, listen, if a slob can do it, you can do it, and probably better. And a lot of people have proven they can do it better, which is wonderful. Works for me. The right way is the easy way, says Erie. Do I ship my products to Australia? No, but we have a supplier in Australia. If you will go to fatherfish.fish and scroll down, you will find the link to our supplier in Australia. I'm not sure how much product he has yet. I know he's doing the supplement. He probably is doing the dirt. May have found a way to do plants or some other things. We have a supplier in Brazil. In the EU, I have a second person wants to do the EU. Don't know about that yet. The UK, Canada. We've got a person who's ready in India. Where else? Mexico City. Somebody's trying to get it together in Mexico. So we're trying to get, because we cannot ship dirt across national borders because of customs issues. But they're very simple. The supplement is easy. It's simple, and you can make it in your own country with what is available to you. You know, there isn't any place on earth things can't live, except maybe where it's really, really cold, and that's different. But any place there's dirt, you can do a natural substrate, a natural tank. As long as you got dirt, you can do it, because there are all kinds of things in that dirt. Everything imaginable is in that dirt. What else? Erie's doing sheets of compost, frozen. Nice. I've never done it,
That's cool.
but I think it's cool. I like it. What else is here? Give me another question.
Backyard aquaculture has a question for you, Father Fish. I'm only going to have 6 banios in a 40-gallon tank if that helps, so my water shouldn't get contaminated too quickly. Am I correct?
Water should not what?
The water shouldn't get contaminated too quickly.
Depends how much food you put in.
Hmm.
It should not get contaminated at all, unless you're overfeeding. So don't overfeed, and it won't ever get contaminated.
That's it.
This tank is not contaminated, not yet. That could happen. It's it's sort of at a point where it needs to make up its mind. And if I start throwing a lot more food in here, that could flip it over, and it could start getting really murky. The first thing that'll happen is the water will get heavy and slimy, and the fish will they'll have a hard time breathing, because they'll have a hard time extracting oxygen from the water, because it'll have too much organic in it. That's the point where it begins to collapse. And that's what you want to avoid, is slimy water. Slimy water is simply water thick, heavy with organics. You avoid that by feeding minuscule amounts and by having a food web, because in a food web, the amount that those fish eat out of that food web, that waste is automatically taken up by the food web, so there's a balance there. It doesn't increase in organic material. Putting food in all the time increases organic material, which is why you cannot dump a bucket full of leaves in, because you're increasing it by that much organic material. You put it in slowly, you put it in gradually. and you make sure that it doesn't start getting the least bit cloudy. I normally I don't worry about this, but I think I'm wrong not to worry about it. I think I need to worry about it. I think it's a warning sign that I need to pay attention to. So I need to back off feeding. I need to get food web in here, start putting it in small amounts. That's going to control this mulm. That's the other thing. I have a lot of mulm, but the fish have been feeding on it so much, I've not been adding the kind of nutrients to it that have been able to beef up that food web. So that'll be the thing to do, rather than put food in, put food web in to build that up. I've got some fish I want to put in here that are going to require the food web. Some scarlet Bettis I have in another tank. I don't want to do it until I've got the food web built up. So that's going to be the next step. Making green peppers with pepper bacon. Sounds wonderful. Green beans. What did I
Yeah,
say?
that does sound good.
That's John's lemon. Not if it's at John's. I see. I do not. That that rumor. That rumor needs to be put to bed. Put to bed. It does. I deny that. Categorically deny that. Besides, I don't have any basement, so there. I'm not in the basement at all.
So nope, you guys got it wrong.
It's in the warehouse stuff. No, it's not. It's not anywhere.
How they come up with this stuff, I don't know.
I had a skull in my flower horn tank, I assume. I used to argue with it. I can see that. I can see that. Jaws 7 is coming. Wow. Paradise fish. They got a paradise fish killing it. That'll work. Have I cultured blackworms? No. I've never been successful in culturing. I can do very small amounts, but I cannot do adequate culture to be able to keep them going. Now, Super Cichlids is doing it. They're going to be maintained. They're going to be buying. There's a facility, a brand new facility I think in Mexico or New Mexico that is culturing blackworm.
Nice.
And they're going to be buying blackworm from them by the kilo. Well, like 25 to 50 kilo a week. And I'm going to be buying it from them probably at £1 a week. So I'm going to be feeding a lot of blackworm. And I'll be selling blackworm to walk-in traffic. I could ship it locally if there were a need to. I would prefer not to. And the reason I say that is shipping in Maryland, Delaware, Southern Jersey is 1 day delivery. So I could theoretically do that. All right, I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. What time is it? What are we doing?
It is almost 8 o'clock.
We got about almost 8 o'clock. We've been here 2 hours. Is that right?
It
Wow.
flew by.
Wow. Lloyd Goodyear is out for a birthday dinner with family. How wonderful.
That's nice.
Wonderful. Eric Chartrand, have a blessed week. Shalom and blessings. Amen to that. Eric, when I have children, I'll do the same thing. What? Get them to make a tank. I guess. Aquarium salt for betta fish. I do not recommend salt in an established tank, unless it's a brackish water tank. if there's a bacterial problem that has attacked a fish, I recommend taking the fish out and treating it with salt. I think salt is perfectly effective. I do not I do not use salt in my tanks. I should say, however, that I have hard water. Uh, what salt will do to salt water is make it hard water. So I don't see the need to increase the hardness in my water. If you have salt water, you can use salt, which contains all kinds of elements. It's more than simply sodium chloride, particularly if you're dealing with sea salt or Himalayan salt or some other kind of mined salt, MINED. If the salt is from a mine, a salt mine, then it's going to have a host of minerals in it. Or the enriched salt that's made for saltwater tanks. You can do that to get it up. It does not take much. A tablespoon per 5 gallons is too much. A teaspoon per 5 gallons is probably too much. It does not take much at all. A teaspoon in a 20-gallon tank that has a low pH will bring the pH probably up over 7. DeWitt, you can post pics on Discord all the time, 24/7, or you can come up on our our live stream, our show and tell live stream on Wednesday evening.
Mhm.
So plan to do that. Get over on Discord. You can post lots of pictures there, and then also come on up and join us on on our show and tell.
Yep.
And we have a surprise.
We gonna do the little fishy song?
Look at the religion. Here we are. I hope I got the sound on. Tell me if there's no sound.
I love my little
We
fish
hear it.
as they swim about their home. I love my little fishies as they swim about their home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. I have traveled the world over, but never found a peace that comes from watching my fishies as they swim about their home. My heart is happy and I am content to sit and watch them swim. I will not be alone while these fishies are in my home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home.
Hi all. Lovely to be with you. Been a wonderful show. Been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun. Come join us Wednesday. More fun and more fishy talk. More conversation. And beyond. Love you all.
Yeah, we'll have a love you guys.
Bye for now.
Bye guys.